Hi, friends. Today we're going to talk all about fear. Fear is something we all experience if we're healthy on some level. And fear can also be something that holds us back from living the life that we really want to live. So we might have dreams in our heart we want to realize, people we want to meet, we may want to become, places we want to go. But the fear of rejection, failure, being seen, all those things keeps us bound. And so I made a song this time last year called Right Here, and it basically expressed my experience as a creative and the fears that I face. There's something very vulnerable about creating a work of art and sharing it with the world, whether it be a video or a song or a photograph. I'm bearing my soul to the world, and so my fear is rejection. I fear that people are going to see it, not appreciate it, talk bad about me, and that hurts. Like, words hurt. And so the fear of people's opinions kept me bound for a very long time. I was afraid of sharing my ideas, my art. And now look at us. We're here sharing stuff. And, for some people, they may see me as being fearless, but that's not the case. I don't think anyone is fearless. Let's start here. I don't think that fearlessness exists. I think that people who are fearless are a threat to themselves and other people. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is there to keep us safe. It's to keep us from harm and even keep us from rejection, because we know that rejection hurts. Our fear tells us, hey, don't do that thing because I don't want you to be rejected, right? So I want to talk about fear with you, and hopefully I'll give you some encouraging tips and some gentle reminders so that you can work through fear to get to the other end of your dream, of your goal, of yourself. All right. So the first thing again, fear is not the enemy. Fear wants to keep us safe. Fear is the reason why we don't run in traffic. It's the reason why we don't touch hot things. It's the reason why we don't say things to other people that hurt their feelings. Fear is there to protect us. We don't have to make fear the enemy. We can actually make fear the friend. So that voice that might pop up in your head, instead of saying, oh, I have to throw away my fear, ignore it, reject it, listen to it. It's trying to tell you something. All fear does is gather information from your experiences or the experiences of others and presents it to you and allows you to make a decision. But that's the thing. You can make the decision. Your fear does not have to control you. You have control over your fear. It's like, making any other decision, weighing the pros and cons. My husband asked me a question about my fear, and the question basically said, do you value fear more or your dreams? Are you willing to throw away your dreams for your fear? And so even though that I know my fear is trying to keep me safe, I know that my dreams are worth it, and I'm willing to work through my fear and get to my dreams because I'm worthy of them and they're worthy of me. And they're worthy to see the light of day, even if I am afraid. I don't want you all to get it twisted. Whenever I post a video, whenever I sing a song, there is no fearlessness. I am afraid. I am shaking. I am sweating. I'm nervous. Every time I go live, I get nervous. Shout out to the people who are there on the lives. I get nervous. I have my notes in front of me. I know what I'm talking about, but there's still some fear that rises up. The fear of, again, being seen, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of saying something wrong or offending somebody. And yes, the fear of rejection, the fear of trolls coming on and saying something rude about me, rude about my appearance or, how I talk or what I believe. But those things just aren't heavy enough. Those things just aren't worth enough for me to be quiet. So at some point, you can give yourself permission to speak your truth, to sing your song, to dance your dance, to be the person you want to be in this world. But it may come at the cost of your fear. You may have to face fear to get to that thing. So that's the first thing I want to say, is that fearlessness is not the cost of freedom. Fearlessness is not, the cost of your dreams. Fearlessness is not what is required for you to be the person that you want to be in this world. You don't have to be fearless. There's no one, again, that is fearless, and people who are not well. The second thing I want to say is that your fears are valid. Your fears are valid. Being afraid of someone saying something mean to you, understandable. Again, words hurt. Words hurt. Being afraid of being rejected by your friends, understandable. Being afraid of going broke, being afraid of someone not understanding you, being afraid of losing your life, understandable. Those fears are valid, right? And so instead of gaslighting ourselves and telling us, no fear, that's not true, that's not going to happen, what we should do instead is honor our fears, because our fears are, again, informed by other people's experiences, informed by our own experiences, informed by what we see in the world. And so your fears are valid. You don't have to disqualify or invalidate your fears in order to be brave. The thing about being brave is that all bravery is doing a thing in spite of the fear. People who we look up to are still afraid. People who we're inspired by are still afraid, but they're willing to face that fear in order to make that impact, in order to make that change, in order to share that music, to share that song, to share that book. All these people that we admire also experience fear. But again, they're not invalidating their fear. They're just saying, hey, fear, I understand. Thank you so much for your love and your support. However, this thing I'm trying to do is worth it. It's worth shaking in my boots and sweating and trembling at my voice. Me sharing my message is more important, is more valuable to me than me cowering in fear, me thinking about what could happen that may never happen, right? So my fears are valid, but what is also valid is my dreams. What is also valid is my bravery. So yeah, so the third thing I want to ask you is, what's the worst that can happen? So just like that thought before, your fears are valid, really take time to face that thing. Like, give yourself permission to think about the worst case scenario. What is the worst thing that could happen? If I sing the song, people can boo me, people can reject me, people can come up to my face and tell me that I suck. Like, what is the worst thing that can happen? Allow yourself to go there and allow yourself grace to experience that feeling and to be like, you know what, I really am afraid of what other people say. A lot of people who pretend that they're fearless pretend that they have no issue with doing anything. They're like, whatever, I do this thing with no problem at all. And I think with time, maybe that comes with practice. But for most of us, we experience fear. And so we think that, oh, I'm not fearless like this person, so I can't do it. I can't do what they're doing because they're fearless. A lot of them are lying. A lot of them are selling something that's not true. A lot of them are pretending to take on a persona, right? To be the person they need to be on stage. A lot of people literally put on a persona, put on a costume or an outfit so that they are more secure and less vulnerable to other people's opinions and expectations, all these things, right? So understand that a lot of people who say that they're fearless, they're not really fearless. There's a reason why people are called adrenaline junkies, people who jump out of planes and stuff like that. It's because there's this moment of fear. There's this moment of fear, but they love the adrenaline. You don't have adrenaline without fear. You don't have adrenaline without some sort of fire lit under you. You have adrenaline because you're doing something that you're afraid of. So these people jumping out of planes, and not saying you have to do that, but these people jumping out of planes and, jumping off of cliffs, they experience adrenaline because they are afraid. But they love facing their fear head on and doing something about it. They love being in control of their fear. And so while you don't have to jump out of a plane or off a cliff, you can still exercise some sort of bravery by facing your fears head on and still doing that thing. Okay. The next thing I want to say is that the only way is through. The only way to bravery is through that fear. When I was younger, there was a song that I used to sing in my elementary school, and it was about, we're going on a bear hunt. To see what we can find, right? And so we would approach these barriers like the leaves or, I don't know, a bush or something, the water, and we would say, we can't go around it, we can't go under it, we must go through it. A lot of us are trying to be brave without going through the things that make us scared. And the thing is, you don't get to cheat bravery. The only way to become brave is to do the thing afraid. Do it scared, do it messy, but just do it, right? And so Stephanie Perry, shout out to her, she has a video on how to do the thing you're afraid of doing. And she talks about bravery as a muscle, right? And I love that example because the more that you go through fear, the more that you keep doing the thing, the more brave you become. It's not saying that the fear, dissipates and it goes away, but it's saying like, no, I've done this before. I can go through this again. And she calls it your Hall of Fame. Like this idea of, collecting, what are the hard things I've done? What things have I done that I've been afraid to do, but I still did it anyway? I love that example because it really allows you, because in the moment, it's almost like you can't remember anything you've ever done brave in your whole life, right? But when you look back on a list of all the things you've done that have been scary, and you overcame that thing, scary or hard or difficult, right? Or things that seemed impossible, but you're still here, you really realize how brave you are. And so I don't want you to discount how brave you are because you're already brave, right? But sometimes when we're doing new things, we try to circumvent. We try to figure out a way to avoid going through the fear. No, you have to go through it. And so you don't have to go it alone, but you have to go through it in order to become brave and in order to exercise that muscle. So you must go through. The next thing I want to say is take one small step at a time. If you want to become a singer, you don't have to sing at, Madison Square Garden to start out. Sing in your shower, sing to a friend, sing on YouTube, right? But get your feet wet. Start small. You don't have to overcome the world to be brave. The small stuff counts, all right? The next thing I want to ask you is, where did this fear come from? Some fears we have because of our own experiences and because of the unknown. But to be fair, a lot of us acquire fear from other people's fear. A lot of fears that we have are projected onto us or inherited to us, right? We're afraid of doing something, but we don't know why. But our parents told us, like, no, that's scary. We don't do that, right? Like, we inherit and absorb a lot of fears from other people that aren't necessarily our own, and it stops us from living life. So for you, I would love for you to ask yourself, when you make that list of things that you're afraid of, be honest about it. Say, where did this come from? Is this a founded fear? Like, has this happened to me before? Have I seen this happen to somebody else? Or is this a fear that was given to me? One thing I'm thinking about doing is moving out of the country. And I love everyone talking about the expat life, but they also talk about how people who, family or friends who they may leave behind in the States, project fear onto them. They say, oh, well, that place is dangerous, or what will you do for money, or what if you go broke? All these things, right, that we're not really actively thinking about. Or maybe we have. Maybe we've already gotten to the other side of bravery and done it anyway, right? But even though they're well-wishing, we're still absorbing their fear. Like, what does happen if I go broke? What does happen if I lose my house, right? You start thinking about things that other people give you. So I want to tell you to guard your heart. Make sure that your fears are your own. Your fears are your own, because some people have experienced things or seen other people experience things, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be our reality. We don't have to absorb everybody else's fear. Focus on the ones that are yours, okay? Yes. The next thing I want to ask is, what is the root of your fear? So I really recommend you making a list. Make a list of all the things you're afraid of. When you're afraid of doing something, ask yourself why. Why am I afraid of this? So I'll use me as an example. And we've talked about this example in the Get Unstuck and Get Started program that I have, and that's going to be relaunching soon. So I'll share that with you soon. But the idea is to say your fear. I'm afraid of performing. I'm afraid of singing. Why? Because I'm afraid of being booed. Why am I afraid of being booed? Right? It's words, right? Why am I afraid of being booed? Because it solidifies that I'm not talented. Why would that be an issue for me? Like, really get to the depth, like get to the heart of that thing. Why? Ask yourself why at least 5 times until you get to the root. And for me, when I'm performing, the root really is, I'm afraid that I'm actually not talented. I'm afraid that everybody has been lying to me. I'm afraid that I can't sing. I'm afraid that I've lost my gift. I'm afraid that, and so even the heart of that is like, I'm afraid I have nothing to offer to the world. That's my fear. My fear is not even about singing. It's not even about performing. It's about my fear of not being able to make the impact on the world that I want to make. Not being anybody, right? Being someone that people forget about, like not leaving a legacy. And so when we get to the heart of that fear, we can approach it, which is my next point, with truth, right? So the next question I have for you is, once you get to the heart of that thing, what is the truth about that fear? The truth is, even if I never sang another note, I'm still worthy. I'm still good enough. Like I still leave a legacy, and I get to decide what that legacy is, if it's going to be good or bad, right? There's still impact I'm having in my everyday life, even if I don't perform or sing. So when we face the truth of our fears, not running from it, not being ashamed of them, not judging ourselves for it, we're able to offer truth to that fear and therefore affirm ourselves in a way that we need to be affirmed so that we can go out in the world and do the work that we want to do. When I'm holding on to a note card that says, "You're already worthy," that means that no matter how well or bad I do during this performance, my worth does not change. I'm already worthy. When I say that I do have legacy, I've inherited legacy, I'm making an impact in the world by loving people, by being myself, it takes the pressure off. It's like, okay, I can breathe a little easier. Not saying that fear will disappear, right? That nervousness, that anxiety you might feel, right? That adrenaline you might be feeling, but you're able to walk into that thing with bravery and with truth. And so we want to be sure that we're approaching our things with truth, because it's so easy to go off the deep end. It's so easy to be like, you know what? I'm going to die if I sing up here. Someone's going to throw something. I'm going to have a heart attack. Like, it's so easy. It's so easy to be so destructive with our thought, but we can be constructive if we choose to do the work too, right? If the default is destruction, it might be a little harder at first to be constructive, but it's so necessary. Because when I'm standing on that stage, no matter what anybody does to me on that stage, when I'm standing in the truth and I know for a fact that even if I bomb this performance, I'm still lovely, I'm still worthy, I'm good. I'm good. All right. The next question I have for you is, the next thing I have to say is that it takes practice to become brave. So like Stephanie Perry was talking about in her video, bravery is like a muscle. And I've heard this used before as well. This idea that we think that, bravery is this moment we get to. At some point, we just become brave. Like, we're just going to be brave, right? And that's not really how it works. It's much like exercising. You would not say to yourself, I'm going to go on a 5K. Let's go do it. No, you need to train. You need to practice. And so, like I said earlier, take small steps so you can exercise and gain that muscle and be like, okay, I was lifting 5 pounds last week. Now I can lift 10. Now I can lift 20. So I was doing the hard thing. I was singing in the shower, right? Being okay with people hearing me in my home sing. I was singing on a camera, sharing it with YouTube. Now I'm getting to the point where, okay, cool. I can perform at an open mic, okay, where people are warm and kind and inviting. Okay, maybe next week I can sign up for a showcase. Maybe I can, submit my audition tape for a platform or for a festival or something like that. So you want to make sure that you're using your bravery on a daily basis, doing something different, something that creates new pathways in your brain, something that shows you that you're capable and able to do hard and difficult things. That's what you want to remind yourself of, okay? The next thing I want to ask you is, what's worth more, your fears or your dreams? What is worth more, your fears or your dreams? So like I said, last year, this time, today, I put out a song called Right Here. And as a creative, as a person who makes videos, songs, podcasts, all the things, it's really unnerving when it's time to share something. I get so nervous. I get so sick. I have a lot of anxiety around releasing things because I'm afraid. But the whole song is really just like a pep talk to myself to say, should I not create because I'm scared? Should I quit just because I feel unprepared? Should I live my life controlled by fear or start brave right here? And that's the beautiful thing. No matter where you are, you have the opportunity to start right here. You get to choose. Are you going to live in fear or are you going to start? Are you going to start? And starting can be a small step forward, just admitting to yourself what you want. It's brave. It takes bravery to admit what you really want in your life. It takes bravery to say, you know what? I'm not happy here. It takes bravery to even face your own fears. It takes bravery to try the thing. Bravery is the thing you need, but you already have it inside you. You're already brave. You're already brave. You have already done brave things, right? So I'm going to share the song with you at the end of the video. I hope that you enjoy, but please understand that you are already brave, and bravery is not something you just like inherently have. It's not something that has to be, faked. You know what I mean? Like when people say fake it till you make it, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be like, you know what? I'm terrified, but I'm still going to do this thing anyway. I don't know how this is going to turn out. It might be a dumpster fire, but I'm committed to myself and my dream so much that I'm willing to try it anyway, because no matter what happens, I get to try again. Even if you do fail, right? Even if the fear is failure, maybe you do fail, maybe it doesn't hit the mark, right? Failure is not failure. Failure is information. Failure is the gift that keeps on giving, because now you know what not to do. And now you can help other people not do that thing too. Or maybe you're like, maybe I should try it differently this time. Maybe I should still do the thing, but do it differently. But if we are so fearful of failure, then we'll never do anything. Because everything requires a failure to learn. Everything. Even exercising. Some people exercise until their arms literally can't give anymore. And they're like, okay, cool. I know next time to go a little lower with the weight. I know next time to do a little less, right? That's the whole point. That's the whole beauty of it. So no, fear is not your enemy, but I don't want fear to cost you your life. And the question I have for you is fear costing you your life, your freedom, your vitality, your impact, your joy? What is the cost of your fear? What is the cost of giving into your fear, of not living your life, of not being honest about what you really want? How have you kept yourself bound with your fear? And can you make friends with it so that you can go on to do things that make you brave? I believe you can. I believe in you. I love you. Enjoy the song. And I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye. What exactly can you take from me? I let you lock me in though I am free. I thank the Lord for helping me to see that I ain't got nothing to fear. I admit that I fear abandonment. That's why I'm not always so confident. But I know this gift was heaven sent, and the giver is always here. Should I not create because I'm scared? Should I quit when I feel unprepared? Should I live my life controlled by fear and play it safe right here? What is the worst that can happen to me? I fail, I fall for all to see. I'd rather try at bravery than not to try at all. Should I not create because I'm scared? Should I quit when I feel unprepared? Should I live my life controlled by fear and play it safe right here? They may not believe, but who cares what they think? At least you're in the ring, you're a brave one. They may not understand, may lend no helping hand, but they're watching from the stands. You're the brave one. You're the brave one. You Should I not create because I'm scared? Should I quit when I feel unprepared? Should I live my life controlled by fear and play it safe right here? Should I not create because I'm scared? Should I quit when I feel unprepared? Should I live my life controlled by fear? Or start brave right here?